I watched her move through the kitchen, completely unaware of the storm brewing beneath my calm exterior. She hummed softly, pouring herself a glass of wine like nothing in the world was out of place. The same woman who had vowed to love me forever now stood before me, wrapped in the glow of a lie she thought I hadn't uncovered. "Jessica says hi," she added casually, swirling the deep red liquid in her glass before taking a slow sip. Jessica. The ghost of an alibi she had leaned on far too many times. I forced a chuckle, keeping my voice light. "Yeah. How's she doing?" "She's great," Emily replied without hesitation. "Busy with work, but we had a nice catch-up. You should text her sometime." The audacity! My grip tightened around my phone, but I willed myself to stay composed. She had no idea I had already texted Jessica earlier that day, just a simple, friendly check-in. Jessica, ever oblivious, had responded instantly, talking about how swamped she was at the office, how she hadn't seen Emily in over a month. Lie after lie. It disgusted me. Emily's phone vibrated on the counter, and for the briefest second, her expression flickered, guilt, panic, something she quickly buried beneath a forced smile. She turned the device over, hiding the screen from view. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table. "Everything okay?" She nodded too quickly. "Yeah, just work stuff." Work stuff? I almost laughed. If she only knew how deep I had dug, how much I had already unraveled. Instead, I picked up my fork, pushing the food around my plate, feigning indifference. "That reminds me, I ran into Mike today." Her hand jerked slightly, a small movement, but I caught it. She took another sip of wine, covering the reaction with a smirk. "Oh, how's he doing?" "Mike." A name she didn't expect me to bring up. A name she thought was buried beneath the secrecy of her deception. I watched her closely, drinking in every detail, the way she avoided my gaze, the nervous tap of her fingers against the stem of her glass, the way she swallowed just a little too hard. "Seemed stressed," I said finally. "Work must be rough for him." She nodded, setting her glass down. "Yeah, I guess." I let the silence stretch, let her sit in it, let it suffocate her just enough to make her uncomfortable. Then I leaned back, stretching my arms. "We should do a double date sometime. You and me, Mike and his wife." The blood drained from her face. She forced a laugh, but it came out uneven. "You hate double dates." I could make an exception. Her breathing hitched. I could see the gears turning in her head, trying to find a way out. "Mike's really busy these days." "His wife too." "I don't think." "I'll reach out to him myself," I interrupted, flashing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "See what he says." Her entire body went rigid. She stared at her plate, suddenly uninterested in the meal she had been so eager to enjoy. Good. Let the panic settle in. Let her wonder how much I knew. The doorbell rang, breaking the tension. Emily practically jumped from her chair. "I'll get it," she blurted, rushing toward the door like a lifeline had just been thrown her way. I took a slow sip of water, listening as she opened it. A familiar voice greeted her, deep and steady. "The private investigator." "Right on time." Emily turned, her expression frozen in a mixture of confusion and fear as the man stepped inside, handing me a thick envelope. "All the proof you asked for," he said smoothly, nodding once before walking back out. I locked eyes with my wife, her smile from earlier completely gone. And then, I opened the envelope. Emily's hands trembled as I pulled out the thick stack of photographs, neatly bound together. I didn't rush. I wanted her to feel every agonizing second of the moment her carefully constructed lies crumbled. I held up the first picture. There she was, stepping out of a black sedan, hair slightly tousled, lipstick fresh. The timestamp in the corner confirmed the date, just yesterday. Her mouth parted slightly, breath hitching. "I can explain." I ignored her. I flipped to the next one. Emily walking into the Windsor Hotel, the very same place she had insisted she had never been to when I casually brought it up weeks ago. She took a shaky step forward. "Please, just let me." I lifted a hand, silencing her. The third picture. Emily in the hotel lobby, glancing over her shoulder like a woman who knew she was doing something wrong. And then, the fourth. Mike. Him, standing beside her, fingers grazing the small of her back. The way she leaned into his touch, the way their gazes locked, said everything. A choked sound escaped her lips. It's not. Another picture. Them in the elevator together. The final one. A shot from the security camera outside room 906. Emily, reaching into her purse, pulling out a keycard. Mike, standing behind her, his hands already moving to her waist. Silence filled the room, thick, suffocating. I placed the pictures down on the table, staring at the woman I once thought I knew. How long? Her lower lip trembled. It wasn't supposed to happen. How long? I repeated, my voice dangerously calm. She closed her eyes, as if wishing she could wake up from this. But there was no escaping. Not anymore. A few months, she whispered. I let out a sharp laugh, one void of humor. Months. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table, my gaze locked onto hers. While I was working. While I was busting my ass providing for us. You were. I gestured to the pictures. With him. Tears welled up in her eyes. I was lonely. Lonely, I echoed. The word tasted bitter. So that's your excuse? I never meant to hurt you. I slammed my fist onto the table, making her flinch. You never meant to hurt me? Then tell me, Emily, what did you think would happen? Did you think I'd never find out? Did you think I'd just accept it? She sobbed, covering her face with her hands. I messed up. I exhaled slowly, gripping the edge of the table to ground myself. I had imagined this confrontation 1,000 times, rehearsed what I would say, but now, standing here, I felt nothing but disgust. Disgust at her. Disgust at myself for ever loving her. Her phone buzzed on the counter. We both looked at it at the same time. Mike. Emily's eyes widened in horror, and she lunged for it, but I was faster. I grabbed the phone, holding it out of reach. I turned the screen toward her, letting her see the name. Still want to tell me it was a mistake? She shook her head furiously. Don't answer it. I smirked, then, without hesitation, I swiped the screen and pressed the speaker button. A deep voice filled the kitchen. Hey, babe. You left in a rush. Everything okay? Emily gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. I kept my eyes on her, waiting. Nothing. No words. No defense. I spoke for her. Oh, everything's perfect, Mike. A pause. Then, a sharp intake of breath. Who is this? I smiled. Her husband. Silence. Then, click. He hung up. Emily let out a strangled sob. I'm so sorry. I stared at her for a long moment, then I set the phone down, grabbed my jacket, and walked toward the door. She rushed after me. Wait. Where are you going? I didn't turn back. To make sure you regret everything. And then, I left. The night air was cool against my skin as I stepped outside, slamming the door behind me. Emily's frantic footsteps followed, her voice cracking with desperation. Please. Just talk to me. I didn't slow. I didn't acknowledge her. My car sat in the driveway like an escape hatch, ready to take me anywhere but here. Her fingers clutched at my arm just as I reached the driver's side. I'll do anything. Just don't leave like this. I finally turned, staring into the eyes of the woman I had built a life with, the woman who had shattered everything without hesitation. Tears streamed down her face, but they meant nothing to me now. Anything. I repeated, my voice cold. She nodded frantically. Yes. I'll fix this. I'll prove to you that I love you. Just, please don't go. I exhaled sharply, tilting my head as I studied her. You want to fix this? Yes, she whispered. I smirked. Good. Then come inside. She blinked, her breath hitching, probably expecting me to drive off into the night. Instead, I stepped past her and walked back into the house. Confused but hopeful, she followed. I grabbed my laptop from the counter and settled into the chair, motioning for her to sit across from me. She hesitated but obeyed, hands clenched together like a child waiting for punishment. I opened an email draft, turned the screen toward her, and slid the keyboard in her direction. You want to fix this? Start with this. She frowned. What? I leaned forward, voice dangerously low. Write a confession. To your parents, your sister, your friends, everyone who thinks you're some perfect, devoted wife. Tell them the truth about what you did. Every detail. Her lips parted, shock flickering through her features. You can't be serious. I crossed my arms. If you really regret this, if you really want to make it right, then own up to it. She shook her head violently. No. That's too much. They don't need to know. I let out a sharp laugh. Oh, they don't need to know. But I did, right? I needed to suffer in silence while you paraded around with another man. She sobbed, shaking her head. I don't want to lose everything. I stood abruptly, slamming my hands on the table, making her jump. You already lost me, Emily. Her breath hitched, realization sinking in. I grabbed the laptop and typed out the confession myself. Every detail. Every lie. Every betrayal. Then, I attached the photos from the private investigator. I turned the screen back to her. Sign your name. Tears dripped onto the keyboard as she stared at the words that would destroy what little she had left. When she made no move to type, I leaned in. You said you'd do anything. Prove it. With trembling fingers, she typed out her name. I hit send. Her entire body shook as the email left the outbox, delivering her downfall straight into the inboxes of everyone who had ever believed in her. She clutched at my arm, sobbing. You've ruined me. I pried her fingers off me one by one, stepping back. No, Emily. You ruined yourself. I grabbed my car keys and walked toward the door, leaving her to drown in the consequences of her choices. As I stepped outside, a sense of peace washed over me. She had waltzed in smiling after her so-called lunch date. No. She would never smile the same way again. The house was silent, except for the sound of Emily's quiet sobs echoing through the walls. I stood outside, staring at the night sky, inhaling the crisp air. The weight on my chest was finally lifting. My phone buzzed. A notification. Message delivered. I imagined the shock rippling through every person who received the email. Her parents, who always spoke so highly of her. Her sister, who had once told me Emily was lucky to have a husband like you. Our friends, who believed we had the perfect marriage. They all knew the truth now. And so did Mike's wife. I smirked. That part had been my personal touch. I had found her number, attached the photos, and sent the confession directly to her. If Emily thought she would crawl back to her lover for comfort, she was in for another shock. I climbed into my car, gripping the wheel, heart pounding with satisfaction. But before I could drive off, the front door burst open. Emily ran outside, her face pale, her body shaking. Please, she choked out. Don't go. I rolled down the window, watching her break. Why? She hesitated, grasping for something, anything that could make me stay. Because I love you. I laughed, shaking my head. No, you don't. I do, she screamed, stepping closer. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. I studied her. The desperation in her eyes, the raw panic, the realization that she had lost everything. This was what regret looked like. You want to fix this? I asked softly. Yes. She nodded frantically. I'll do anything. I leaned out slightly, lowering my voice. Then go inside, pack your bags, and leave. She gasped, stepping back like I had struck her. No, you don't mean that. I do. Tears streaked down her face, her body trembling. You can't just throw away everything we built. I tightened my grip on the wheel. You threw it away. The moment you let him touch you. Her hands covered her mouth as a sob ripped through her. I had never seen her look so utterly broken. But I didn't feel sorry for her. I put the car into drive. Goodbye, Emily. She collapsed onto the pavement as I pulled out of the driveway. I watched in the rearview mirror as she curled into herself, crying into the night. I didn't look back again. Freedom tasted sweet.